All right, welcome back. In a historic 216 to 210 vote, Kevin McCarthy dethroned from his seat as Speaker of the House. 8 Republicans joining Democrats to oust the Speaker for the first time in U.S. history. Now, earlier this hour, we spoke with Congressman Bob Good, one of the 8 who voted to oust McCarthy. Here's how that went. Watch.
Congressman, with all due respect, you called our questions silly, but there's a lot of people out there saying that your responses are silly, that we are in a moment of crisis here in this country. And the last thing that the 8 of you should have done was band together with the Democrats, because remember, their agenda is completely different than yours. They just want to distract from Hunter Biden.
Well, they don't want to move forward with the impeachment inquiries.
So now we're in a state of chaos.
Here with us now to react, Kudlow host Larry Kudlow. Larry, thank you so much for joining us.
Good for you. Good for Jackie. Good for you. They're a bunch of insurrectionists, and they're not going to go to heaven. Kevin McCarthy, I've been texting him, he's going to go to heaven because he's a classy guy, and he wouldn't make a deal with the Democrats, and he saved them from a shutdown. He's going to heaven. These insurrectionists are not going to heaven. I'm not going to say where they're going to go, but it's not going to be heaven.
And he went on to say in that exchange that, well, what was Kevin McCarthy going to do regarding spending in the border in the next few weeks? And it's possible that he was not going to do anything, but that's not to say that, you know, somebody that they put in is going to be able to do something in such a short period of time, too, because the circumstances haven't changed. That majority is very small.
The problem is the Schumer-esque left-wing Senate majority. That's the problem. And then you have this little sleepyhead in the White House. That's the problem.
Right.
Yeah. Kevin McCarthy is not the problem. Now they've got to figure out, I mean, besides getting a new speaker, they got to figure out the rest of the appropriation bills. I think they passed 4, so they have 8 to go. Is that right?
Yep.
They got through 4, which, by the way, McCarthy negotiated, if you recall, with Joe Biden for the debt ceiling to cut about $2 trillion, $1.5 to $2 trillion off the current services baseline, which is not nothing. And then you've got to figure out the border policy, right? And you've got to figure out the Ukraine policy. Right now, there's no money for Ukraine in the CR that passed, right? And not in the Senate bill, not the House bill, blah, blah, blah. So they got big challenges, right? They've got, it doesn't matter, and this, you know, this thing's not going to change.
So then what
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just going to ask, well, Larry, what do you think the path forward is? I mean, we're seeing a lot of names being thrown into the hat, but it kind of feels like so many names are already coming out. Is it too much? Do you think Jim Jordan, for example, could get the support that he would need?
Well, you know, you've got some outstanding people. Steve Scalise is an outstanding person. Jim Jordan is an outstanding person. There may be others. They may have to compromise on somebody. I don't know. You know, I'm in touch with many of them, but they're all good. They're all good people, and none of these insurrectionists. So that's, you know, a good thing. Keep them out of play. But the main thing, I think, is to come back next week, vote, make a, you know, figure out what they're going to do on the speaker. But they've got to get the rest of the appropriation bills done, and then they have to put a package together. They've got to negotiate with the left-wing Democrats in the Senate. And again, I go back to Ukraine. I wouldn't give Ukraine more and more money unless I knew there was diplomatic initiatives, for example, to try to make a peace deal. The Bidens are not even talking the way they should be on.
But it's funny because he was just making, sorry,
and then you have the border. I just want to add, you have the border issue. We need to close the border, period. End of sentence, full stop. And you've got Democrats now saying that. Like Bill Clinton said that on John Katzimatidis' radio show the other day. So these are challenges. They got to get right to it.
I was just saying that Biden was speaking live, and he was saying that there will be more money for Ukraine. He doesn't want to comment on it right now, but there will be.
Well, you know, money bills originate in the House, just saying. You may not know that. One other thing that ticks me off, since we're talking, since we're talking privately here, the Bidens want to cancel, what was it, $9 billion of student loans.
Yeah.
Guess what? The Supreme Court said you do not have the power to do that. Now, I don't know what they don't understand. Like, it's in English. The Supreme Court decisions are all in English.
Oh, yeah.
What is wrong with them? Why do they insist on breaking the law? And, you know, Mark Levin says in his book, and we had him on the show last night, that's an impeachable offense. You cannot just break the law like that randomly. Sorry.
They do not let the Constitution get in the way.
Imagine that.
But can I just, I think I'm a little out of step here, but let me just say this. I'm less pessimistic about what's happening in the House for this reason. I think it's possible that you get a pretty strong speaker out of this, maybe a Jim Jordan type. And I don't think he's encumbered by the rule of, hey, one person can object and your seat is vacated, which actually would put that person in a stronger position.
You think they'll
to
change?
Rally these troops and get something done, Larry. I'm just saying
change the rule. They need to change the rule.
Because if I'm Jordan, let's say, I'm like, I'll take this job, but there is no way one person vacates me. And I think he's got the leverage to be able to do that.
Well, it's a good point. And by the way, I don't see this as crippling the Republicans and all. They'll get back to it. Yeah. They'll find a leader, a speaker. Hopefully they'll change the rules, you noted, and just go back to work.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on the way. They've done some good things. They'll do more good things. You know, don't forget, they had a great energy permitting bill that would reopen the fossil fuel spigots. Right. They have a good, I think it's H.R. 2, they have a good border security bill.
Right.
They have stuff that they can push through and force the Senate to make decisions.
McCarthy was on the border stuff. It wasn't
he
done,
was good.
But he was working on it.
But, you know, Jordan's good, Scalise is good. There's several of them that, you know, could be very good speakers. That's all I'm saying.
Larry Kudlow for speaker.
There you go. Amen.
Larry, thank you so much. Be sure to tune in to Kudlow weekdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fox Business.